Chris, the Batman statue collector. Hope you're all doing great out there, and welcome back once again to Brotherhood of the Bat Collectibles. And hey, if it's your first time visiting, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell. You guys know the drill. Now today we're going to be doing a reaction to the Snyder Cut. The Snyder Cut is everywhere this week. It's just insane because people have been waiting so long for it, and people reached out to me and said, hey Chris, are you going to do a reaction to this? We would love to know your thoughts and opinions on this movie. And of course I said sure, I would love to do it, but it came out last Thursday. I was on spring break and I was with my family all weekend. Never had a chance to sit down for 4 hours and watch this film until last night. My wife and I sat down and we were only going to watch the first half. Well, that quickly turned into parts 4, 5, and 6. We stayed up past midnight, which was late for the old Batman statue collector. But we watched it and we really enjoyed it. And so I wanted to give my thoughts and opinions, but I also wanted to give a little bit of background on how I feel about the Snyderverse, if you will. I really enjoyed Man of Steel. I really enjoyed Batman vs. Superman. I thought they were very good films, but they're not my universe that I like. I always like Batman in Gotham fighting villains, period. You know, that's it. I don't want aliens. I don't want other superheroes involved. Now, I'm probably in the minority there. But Justice League is great. It is what it is whenever all these characters come together to fight all these supernatural things. And I'm fine with it in the Marvel universe, but for some reason, Batman, I just want Batman in reality. I want him in, you know, how real is a man-bat, you know, or a Killer Croc. But I want it to be based in just Gotham, in kind of real life, if that makes sense, and maybe it doesn't. But I enjoyed the first couple films, but again, it's just not my Batman, not my Superman. That world. I really enjoy Henry Cavill. I really enjoy Ben Affleck. But then Justice League came out, 2017. I was excited about it. I wasn't like, day one I have to see this thing. But my wife and I went to the theater, and within the first few minutes, we saw the bad CGI on Superman, and we both looked at each other like, what the crap? Like, what is going on here? And it was a fun popcorn flick. It tried to be funny. It was kind of all over the place. I watched it in the theater and haven't watched it since, if that says anything. I still, see 5 or 10 minutes here on TBS or something where it pops up, but it just wasn't necessarily my thing. I'm more of a Batman 89 guy, Batman Returns, or even the Dark Knight trilogy. Those are my Batman movies. So I was very excited when we heard about the hashtag release the Snyder Cut. I didn't think it would go anywhere, but it did. And I shared the hashtag just like everybody else, hoping and thinking, man, this would be amazing if it actually came true. But then it did. And here we are. We are here. And so I've watched this film. My wife and I, like I said, we watched it last night. And there's a lot of really good. There's some things I didn't like about it. But overall, it was such a better film than the original release. And, I know that Snyder, he had family issues and they brought in the director. And Warner Brothers mucks it up like they do everything else. But I was so impressed with what they took and how they changed it into the better. I'm going to be honest, guys. The first half was boring to me. I understand why it was, though. I understand that there's a lot of character build. We saw characters like Cyborg, which hardly got any time or any background in the first release. He is the heart of this movie. I was so impressed with what they did with him. We got to see his relationship with his dad and how he was created, the football background. We got to see so much more, and it made it so much better. But it also drug it out the first half. We had seen a lot of this footage, but there was a ton. I couldn't believe how much new we also got to see. Cameos that we got to see. And I do want to say this. There's going to be spoilers, guys. So if you're not interested in spoilers, you might not want to watch this. You might want to come back to it after you've seen it. But there is going to be spoilers. I probably should have said that right off the beginning. I just popped into my brain. But anyway, Ray Fisher's character I really, really enjoyed. And I think that, all the stuff in real life aside, he made this movie. And it was fantastic. Another person I really liked was Ben Affleck. And let me explain. In Justice League 2017, he looked awful. He was going through a lot of demons in his life during that time, and it shows. I think he looks awful in that film. But here we get to see him whenever he was in better shape, he was healthier, he was happier, and it was just really nice to see all of that footage without the CGI, without him looking so bad. We got to see Henry Cavill without the CGI. It just, everything looked better overall, and especially Henry Cavill. Like, to be able to see him, again, spoiler here, but to see him in his black suit, it just was like it was meant to be, and it's what it should have been in the first place. And I just really, it just looked so great to see him real and not with that, blurred out mustache. It just was so awful. Steppenwolf, another character that was kind of this ho-hum generic character that was awful in the first film. They obviously just overlaid him, I'm assuming. The face was great. He had personality. His voice was more interesting. The character was more interesting. We got to know a little bit of his background, how he's trying to impress Darkseid for things that he maybe messed up for in his past. But I was really impressed overall with that character development. I thought it was really, really good. Of course, it's nice to see Wonder Woman. Aquaman had a beefier, meatier role this time. He wasn't just catchphrases. We got to see some history there. We got to see his singing village with the weird girl that smelled his, his sweater. But it just gives us a little bit of background that obviously was meant to set up for the Aquaman film, which I thought was very, very good. Again, Aquaman is not something that I watch over and over again. It's just not. I'm a Batman fan. True and true Batman fan. So anyway, getting back to Ben Affleck, he looked so good in this film. I'm really still hoping that maybe we'll get to see him versus Deathstroke and maybe HBO Max or something like that. I would love to see that, but I don't know if it'll ever happen or not. A lot is still up in the air. But again, there's a lot of power with the fans. So if the fans keep demanding it, maybe the studios will deliver this stuff. But with that said, all of that was really impressive to me. Another thing that was really cool was the music. I thought that was really nice. Obviously, they switched it up. Before it was some Danny Elfman, which I love Danny Elfman, but this soundtrack sounded so much more epic to me. And it was just very, very well done overall. And I don't know, I just think that really set the tone for this film. Again, the first half to me was boring, but then it did pick up. There were a lot of similarities, but a lot of changes as well, and the ending itself was absolutely incredible. Obviously, Darkseid was introduced, and I think he is terrifying looking. I think he was very, very well represented for who he is. And I remember the first time I ever knew him was my old Superpowers, with the eyes that glowed. He looked awesome, and we got to see his eyes glowing. We got to see the lasers coming out of his eyes. We got to see glimpses into what could be if there ever was a sequel. Now, again, as the recording, it's unlikely. It's unlikely. Warner Brothers is interested in moving on, which I think is a shame. I think they can continue this universe and also continue their other universe as well, just like they did with the Joker film. It's these separate entities, these separate pieces. Obviously, they have a bigger game plan going forward. At least we pray and hope. Marvel is unmatched with what they did with the MCU. Warner Brothers and DC, it's been kind of a crapshoot. But I'm still optimistic and hopeful that they'll be able to pull it together and give us something special and unique with these characters, because these characters are absolutely incredible. But getting back to the ending, I thought the ending was very good. It was very violent. Wonder Woman cutting off Steppenwolf's head. That's what got it the R rating. So I thought that was interesting. There was a little bit more gore, a little bit more, going on in that respect. But I did really like the way they ended that particular portion of the film. One other thing I didn't like was they took out the whole 5 minutes of Batman fighting in Gotham, like on the rooftops. Like, that was awesome. Like, that's what I want a Gotham movie to look like. Very Arkham-esque. And there were Arkham moments in this film, which I thought was great. And I love any time that they were on the roof with Gordon. I think Gordon was awesome in this film. It was nice to be able to see more of him. It was also nice, the cameo with the cop, which is with Jimmy Olsen in the original Superman. I don't know if you guys caught that, but that was him. So that was really cool in the park. But of course, I've completely lost my train of thought where I was going with that. But there's just a lot of really great stuff that I wish they would have maybe left in from the first film, but I'm so glad they got rid of so much from the original film as well. It's just amazing how much he shot. I know that they did some reshoots. From what I've heard, the reshoots were mostly just the nightmare scene at the end, and we'll get to that here in just a second. But the ending itself, and with the Lex Luthor stuff and the Deathstroke, I was really glad that they kept that in, because that was part of those end credits before, and I thought it was going to be exactly the same. We are the Legion of Doom. No, it was completely different, and it was really good, which again was meant to set up that Batman versus Deathstroke film. And from everything I've heard, they wanted it very Arkham-like. They wanted it to have those Arkham fights, which is what we talked about here on this channel. I would have loved that. Would have been incredible. Will we ever get it? I don't know. Again, I think it's really going to come up to the voices of the fans. So, let's get those hashtags out and ready, because I'm ready to use them. Because I'm ready to see more from Ben Affleck. Again, he looks great. The suit is phenomenal. And maybe he can change my mind. Speaking of changing my mind, let's talk about the Joker. Let's talk about that last nightmare scene. The glimpse into the future. Another bad nightmare that Bruce is having, where this incredible team, Deathstroke, and we have, Batman, of course. Who else was in there? I'm trying to remember now. I'm going blank. But, more of the good guys. Flash was there, Wonder Woman. But Superman has obviously been corrupted by Darkseid. Lois Lane is dead in this version. And so Superman's the bad guy again. And Joker is on the side of the good guys. How crazy is that? But let's talk about Jared Leto. Jared Leto, I enjoyed Suicide Squad to the point where I enjoyed all those scenes. I thought it was good. I looked forward to those scenes where he was on screen. In the long run, though, the movie was not that great. It was disjointed. I would love an Snyder Cut. I don't think we're going to get that either. But, never say never, right? But everybody panned Leto. Leto's a phenomenal actor. He is great. But they just didn't give him what they should have in terms of how they edited the movie. So this was an opportunity to give him some justice, and I feel like they did. The long hair, he's creepy. He's got the paint smeared all over his face. The eyes, I love it. It's like, you're my best friend. It was a great conversation between him and Batman, where Batman is threatening him and he's threatening him. And, of course, Batman's talking about Harley dying in his arms. It was just interesting. And then, of course, that olive branch with the Joker card. I thought that was really cool. And, Batman's response to that. It was just very good. And that nightmare sequence was my favorite part of the film. Which is, maybe not saying a ton about the rest of the film. Again, I really, really enjoyed it. I would probably give it, maybe an 8 out of 10. Maybe 7.5, 8, somewhere in there. I would rewatch this again. I don't know how many times. I know some people out there have said this is the Lord of the Rings of comic book movies. I could see that. It's just long. And if it maybe just watch the second half, or you maybe, again, I want to see more of that nightmare stuff. I want to see more of what happened. And obviously they set it up for a sequel with Darkseid. Again, that happens before that. The portal's closing. We don't get to see that battle, but it teases it. We know it's coming. We know Darkseid is not going to stop. He is going to continue to come until he finds, antimatter or whatever it was. But I don't know. I really, really enjoyed that a lot. But again, to me, my favorite part was that nightmare sequence. I would love to see more of that. I think it's fantastic. And I really want to see more Jared Leto's Joker. I'm surprised I'm saying that. But I would like to see more. I would love to see him interact with Batman more, because we didn't get much screen time with Suicide Squad. I mean, there was very, very little with that one chase. But I want to see more. But again, overall, I really enjoyed my experience. We had traveled all day. I was really tired last night. I'm still tired today. But I really am glad I watched it. My wife thought it was good as well. Again, I don't know how many times she would rewatch it. But we both agreed that nightmare sequence was really awesome and badass. But that's kind of my thoughts. That's where I'm at with it. I think it was very good. I do want to hear your thoughts. Like, what did you guys think of this film? Did you rank it higher than 8? What was your favorite part? Did you think Jared Leto kind of redeemed himself, or Snyder helped him redeem himself? Because Joker wasn't originally supposed to be part of that. I would really like to know your thoughts. But overall, my reaction is it was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that we got to see it finally, and it's a real thing. It's not just this rumor. It's not just this hashtag. It was a real thing. And I thank Warner Brothers for allowing it to happen. And I think if our voices are loud enough, if people really enjoy this film, then if our voices are loud enough, I think Warner Brothers would consider it, or at least do a TV show on HBO Max or something. But again, I want to know your thoughts. What do you guys hope for? What do you guys think about this film? I would love to read each and every comment. And just thank you guys so very much for checking out this video today. You guys know how much I love you. It's just, again, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you watching. If you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Come on, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit that like button. It does help people just like you find this content. It also helps promote these videos on the search in YouTube, so that really does help tremendously to help other collectors and viewers just like you find content like this, because we are trying to grow the channel, and it's all because of you that it's happening. So thank you guys so very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you in the Batcave. Bye, everybody. Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today, and if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.